You're listening to episode 79 of On Purpose with Alex Beadon. And in this episode, I share the step-by-step process of how I remain doubt-free during a launch. If you've ever wondered how to energetically show up to create what you want in your launch, this is the episode for you. It is an absolute game changer. This is On Purpose, episode 79. Do you ever feel like you're trying to balance it all? Nourishing your health while growing your business and living a life well lived? And no matter how hard you try, sometimes you slip from purpose-driven into autopilot. Take a deep breath, relax, and let's get you back to where you belong. On purpose. Hello, friends. If you are listening to this live on Monday the 16th, then get ready to celebrate because Double Down on Your DMs starts today. If your ideal client is on Instagram and you're not creating Instagram stories that result in new DMs in your inbox on a daily basis, then I can assure you, I can promise you, you're leaving money on the table. If you're ready to start creating stories that resonate, you will love my free 5-day challenge. It is called Double Down on Your DMs, and it's become somewhat legendary. Once you sign up, you are going to get one Instagram story prompt every single day, Monday, September 16th through Friday, September 20th, telling you exactly what to post to your Instagram story. And I can assure you that if you commit to showing up for this challenge every day, today until Friday, you will walk away inspired and changed. Join me and thousands of other small business owners from all walks of life with varying levels of experience and from different industries all over the world as we show up bravely on our Instagram stories together for 5 days. You can sign up for free at doubledownwithalex.com or on my website, alexbeadon.com, or using the link in my Instagram bio. Okay, now get ready for this episode because it's a game changer. I think you're going to love it. Without further ado, let's jump in. Good morning, friends, or good afternoon, wherever you are listening to this in the world. I am feeling so good right now. I have just spent an entire morning, like the last 2 hours, just like getting in the zone and writing out my to-do list and just checking in with my intentions and my goals. And I am feeling so freaking good. And the first thing on my to-do list today is to record this episode. So I just had to start off by saying that I am just in the perfect energetic space to record this episode with you today. And I'm genuinely pumped for the topic that we're going to be talking about because today I've decided to answer a question that I received. I think I got it like 2 weeks ago. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but every single Friday, I'm now doing something on my Instagram stories called Biz Bestie Friday, where not only do I open up the floor for questions from you guys, so it's kind of like an Ask Me Anything, but I also spend time going through and watching the stories of the people who are watching my stories and checking out your profiles, seeing what you're up to. And it has been so much fun. One of the questions that you guys asked recently, one of you asked, was how do you remain doubt-free even when a launch isn't going the way that you want it to go? And I thought this was such a good question, but it requires so much detail that I was like, let me take this one and run with it in a solo episode. And so today I'm going to be talking to you guys really about the mindset that you have to adopt, not just for your launch, but for your business and for your life in general. This is something that I've been practicing, I want to say over the last 10 years of my life, is just really fine-tuning what it means to be in the space of of knowing with absolute clarity what it is that I'm trying to create, and then really creating the internal environment in order to create that reality. And so that's what I'm going to be talking to you guys about today. So let's dive in. So the first thing is that you must have clarity on what it is that you are trying to create and what it is that you desire. So I know that you asked the question about launching, so I'm going to keep it launch-based, right? So for me, just to give you a little bit of insights or context even, where I'm at right now is that I am 1 week away, less than 1 week away from Double Down on Your DMs. Actually, as you're listening to this, Double Down on Your DMs will have like officially started today. Today's the first day of Double Down on Your DMs. So, if you haven't signed up already, today's the best day to sign up. Like today's the last best day to sign up. So you can sign up over at doubledownwithalex.com. It's 100% free. And so this is like the beginning of my launch. Next week, the doors to Project Storyline will be open and we will be welcoming in all of our new Project Storyline members. And so just to like start off, it's so important to just get clear on what it is that you are trying to do, what it is that you are trying to create, getting clear on the experience that you are trying to provide. So for me, as I mentioned in my previous episode, my goal is 12,200 opt-ins or more. So those are people who have signed up for Double Down on Your DMs. I want 12,200 of them. And then my second goal is to welcome in 1,000 new Project Storyline members. Right? So I'm very clear on what my two kind of like measured goals are. But then I also am very clear on the energy of the launch, how I want it to feel. I had a conversation with my team and I was like, y'all, I want this to be easy. I want this to be fun. I want this to feel expansive. I want us to create this incredible online experience that's unparalleled to anything that anyone taking part has ever experienced in before. And the cool thing about this as well is that every single time we host it, it gets better and better and better. So for example, this time we opened up the Facebook group way in advance so that people could start to get to know each other, so that people could introduce each other, so that the momentum could really build, so that people could feel like they were a part of the community before we just jump in on day one of Double Down on Your DMs. We're also adding something in called accountability partners, where we are encouraging you to find an accountability partner to help you stay accountable. So I'm very clear on the energy of how I want people to feel as they go through this 5-day Instagram story engagement challenge. And so just getting clear, that's the very first step. Be clear on what it is that you are trying to create. Don't just be like, oh, I want to have a good launch. Know exactly how much money you want to make. Know exactly how many people need to sign up in order for you to make that amount of money. Be clear on the energy of the entire launch. How do you want to feel as the launch goes on? Okay, so I'm going to come back to that later, but that is the very first step, right? The next thing gets divided into 3 different steps. So firstly, we have thought, then we have word, then we have action. So the first one, which is thought, really, what does that mean? That means, your ideas, the things that you are thinking, your visualization. Thought is the first level of creation, right? Nothing is created has it not been thought of. Thought is the birthplace of creation. And so that's the very first thing that I want you to be aware of. The second thing is word. So word is thought expressed. You are not saying anything that you have not already thought, right? Words are kind of what put things into motion. Words are what make things go from the non-physical reality into the physical reality. Without words, it's not happening, right? So that's the second thing. And then the third thing is action. So action, very simple, very clear. It's basically what allows you to take your thoughts, turn them into words, and then words turn them into action. So you are taking action on your word, right? So those are the 3 different levels. We've got thought, word, and action. And that's what I'm going to be focusing on today. So buckle up and get ready. Let's jump in. So the first one, thought. Like I said, this is visualization. These are your ideas. These are the thoughts that you are thinking. Now, this is, like I said, first level of creation. Your thoughts, it's where everything begins, right? So the first thing that I'm going to ask you to do when you're launching or when you're trying to create anything in your life is to be very aware of the thoughts that you are thinking at all time. And this requires a certain amount of presence and a certain amount of awareness and a certain amount of discipline as well. Because not only am I asking you to be aware of the thoughts that you're thinking, but I'm also asking you to be intentional with them. So if you are having a negative thoughts, that is pretty much like the birthplace of it then turning into words and it then turning into action. So if we want to avoid like negative things happening in our life, if we want to avoid our launch failing, if we want to avoid not getting as many sales as we had hoped, then we need to be super strict about the thoughts that are happening in our mind, right? So number 1, being unwavering in your belief, regardless of what is happening externally, regardless of what is happening in the physical world. Like just knowing that I'm aiming for 1,000 or more new project storyline members and being unwavering in that belief. Only having thoughts which support that end result, right? So if I'm sitting down, and trust me, guys, this launch has not gone to plan. Our Instagram story ads have, like last time that we launched, they were about 95 cents per lead. So that was the cost per lead. And this time they're like $1.50. And that may not sound like a lot, but that's almost double. So when you think about the fact that we're spending thousands of dollars, like literally $10,000 plus dollars on generating new leads for this launch, and when the cost goes from maybe $1 to $1.50, you're now getting 2 leads where before you were getting 3, right? So that can make a really big difference in the bottom line at the end of a launch. So it's a huge deal. And when this started to happen and when this came to my attention, I had two kind of thought patterns that I could go down. Number one is like, oh my gosh, I'm spending so much money. I can't believe this is happening to me. It really just coming from a place of scarcity. Like, we're not going to have enough leads. We're not going to hit our 1,000 people goal. This launch is going to be a disaster. What does this mean about me? Da, 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 da. So that's one aspect, or like one thought process or thought journey. And the next thought journey is, okay, cool. Like this has happened. Obviously, I don't expect every launch to go perfect. I don't expect any launch to go perfect, right? These things are going to happen. It is not a reflection of me. All that matters is how I respond and react to it. So what can I do today to lower that cost and to get the cost per lead back down as low as we possibly can? And so we had to like look into, okay, well, why is the cost so high? The cost is so high this time because Facebook, who own Instagram, they've basically changed their approval process for Instagram story ads. So before, my Instagram story ads used to have a ton of text and Instagram didn't care. They were still putting it out to people. Now, my Instagram stories, we're using the same Instagram story ads. They still have the same amount of text, but they have lower reach because Facebook has changed the rules about Instagram story ads and the amount of text that you can have. So what does that mean? That means that yesterday I had to spend a good 2.5 hours making new ads that have way less text to make sure that I'm doing everything I can do to get that cost down as low as possible, as quickly as possible, right? But it's two different mindsets. Like one mindset is like, oh my gosh, I'm a failure. This is just foreboding bad things for this launch. And the other one is, I'm a warrior. I know how to handle this. I'm a businesswoman. I'm super intelligent. I'm smart. I've got this. I'm going to figure out how to get it back down. So one is an empowering thought and one is a thought that's coming from a place of lack. The important thing is that you choose your thoughts. You're always in a position of choosing the way that you think about everything. And it affects the way that you feel. It affects the things that you say. It affects the actions that you take. It affects how you show up in the world. So be very aware of your thoughts at all times. Guard them, right? So another part of that is releasing attachment to result. So for example, I want to sell 1,000 project storylines, right? I want 1,000 people to sign up for Project Storyline this launch. But I'm aware that this launch does not make or break me. I'm aware that if I don't sell 1,000 Project Storyline spots, it's not the end of the world. It doesn't change my value. It doesn't change my worth. I've completely released my attachment to the result. I know that I do not need a result in order to feel worthy or feel valuable, right? So it's really about kind of detaching from your need of anything to happen while simultaneously being so focused and being like, it's already happened. So it's about like literally feeling it in your body as though it has already happened. 1,000 new Project Storyline members have already signed up. It's already happened. And feeling that kind of certainty in your body. And simultaneously not feeling so attached to it that any little bump along the road kind of leaves you in a tailspin. So release your attachment to the result. Something else that I really love to put into practice is knowing that nothing is good or bad. It just is. So a quote that helps me, or I would say like a mantra that helps me that I use religiously, if you follow the podcast, you'll know this, is that everything is happening for me and not to me. So that allows me, whenever I have any sort of failure, it allows me to be able to kind of step out of the initial experience of that failure. Like whenever you experience failure, you're kind of like, oh, this sucks. Like I didn't hit my goals, not moving as quickly as I want to, whatever. It kind of allows me to skip that part and just kind of like step back from it as much as possible and detach from the failure as much as possible and just kind of be like, this is happening for me. This is pushing me into a new direction that I need to be pushed into, or this is teaching me a lesson that I needed to learn. I really and truly try to detach from like, why is this happening to me? Or, oh my gosh, this horrible thing happened to me. Nothing is good or bad. It just is. And everything is happening for me and not to me. And like I said, guys, this can apply, and this should apply not just to your launches, not just to your business, but also to your life. I think that living from this space is just so powerful. It allows you to show up at your absolute best and create what you want to create in your life without any resistance or friction. And that's really what I'm doing through this process of like thought, word, action, is letting go of resistance. Whenever you have resistance, you're slowing down the whole process. It's like you're muddying up your results. So having the thought of like, my launch isn't going the way I want it to go. Our cost per lead is too high. I'm not going to get 12,200 people to sign up for Double Down on your DMs. 1,000 people aren't going to sign up for Project Storyline. It's muddying up my results and it has zero purpose. Like allowing those thoughts to be in my mind is not helpful at all, right? So another part of that when it comes to thought is knowing your innate value regardless. Your value and your worth is your birthright. You know that you're always showing up and that you're always doing your best. You know that if something goes wrong, it's like if you have a child, right? I love to think about this. I sometimes look at like baby pictures of myself because I'm not a mother, but I like to look at a photo of my young self and be like, would I ever go to that child and be like, you are worthless, you are valueless, like you are good for nothing? No, like I would never do that. Would I ever tell my best friend that? No. So like, why would we ever? And thank God I've gotten so much better at this. But when I first started this practice, I used to witness myself be mean to myself on a regular basis in my head. And that gets you nowhere. So know your innate value regardless. Know that you're also on a long-term journey. And this really helps with like the detachment of results. If you know that you're on a long-term journey with a product, so for example, me and Project Storyline, we are in a long-term relationship with each other, right? We are going to be together for years and years and years. It's my intention to get this into the hands of as many people as possible, that Project Storyline changes the lives of people by encouraging them to show up online, to tell their stories online, and to connect deeply with their audience and their followers, right? Because I believe that when you show up more on your Instagram story, you are deepening your relationship with your followers. And when you deepen your relationship with your followers, they know, like, and trust you more. And we all know that people buy from people that they know, like, and trust. So for me, like, this is such a core part of why I do what I do. I so strongly believe in the power of entrepreneurship and the power of creating flexibility and freedom in your life, flexibility and freedom of like time, emotion, creativity, self-expression. I just think that for so many of us, the cubicle lifestyle of like working 9 to 5, it's just not going to cut it. And for so many of us, like we want to stay home. Maybe, you know, I know so many of you guys are stay-at-home parents and you're raising your kids and you want to be able to provide for them and create a better future for them while being able to stay at home. And so for me, there's so much power in entrepreneurship. And I feel like I'm here on this earth to be someone who champions entrepreneurs and who helps entrepreneurs. And that is like the underlying why of Project Storyline. And so if I'm so connected to that mission, and if I'm so aligned with that mission, it doesn't really matter how long it's going to take for it to be a massive success. I'm not in a rush, right? And so when you can accept that and know that this is a long-term journey and know that you are committed no matter what, it's almost like I know it's going to happen, so it doesn't really matter when it happens because in my mind, it's already done. I know that we want to launch Project Storyline, and I want to welcome in 1,000 new Project Storyline members. But I also know that if it doesn't happen this launch, it'll happen the next launch or the next launch or the next launch or whatever, right? I believe that it is mine already. I believe that it is here. I believe that it is going to happen during this launch, but if it doesn't, it doesn't, and that's cool. So that's the first step, is thoughts. Always like just being in discipline with your mind and knowing that your thoughts really do matter and that you need to monitor them. And if your thinking is going down a negative path, it's your responsibility to shift that. Quick break in the show for our review of the week. This one is from a listener called Kat Gaskin. She is, if you don't know, now you know, the creator of the Content Planner. And this is what she wrote. She wrote it from Canada on Apple Podcasts. She said, "I never listened to podcasts and now I am hooked. Alex is completely transparent with her numbers, budgets, processes, and workflows, a rarity in a world where most marketers would make you pay before they reveal so much knowledge and expertise. You actually learn valuable information that you can immediately apply to your business. Subscribe now if you want to learn from a true expert." Kat, thank you so much. I read this and it just completely made my day. And so guys, if you haven't checked out Kat and the Content Planner, go and make it happen. And if you're listening to this and you've gotten this far into the episode, then clearly you like what you're listening to. So this is just a quiet, just tap on the back, just a little friendly nudge in the right direction, that if you have not left a review yet, it would mean the world to me if you did. This show is 100% available to you for free. I share so much of myself. I spend so much time and pour so much love and energy into these episodes. And so the one thing that you can really do to give back and show your appreciation is to go onto the Apple Podcast app and leave a review of On Purpose with Alex Beadon. Also, I'm encouraging you to subscribe from whatever platform you listen to and share it with your friends. Post it on Instagram stories. Y'all know I always love seeing you share your aha moments on Instagram stories. So if you haven't already, make it happen. Okay, now back to the show. The second thing is word. Like I said, word is thought expressed. What I like to do once I've actually thought out my plan and once I've visualized like exactly how I want my launch to go and exactly what my goals are and exactly what it is that I'm creating, I like to speak it. And I like to speak it as though it's true, and I like to get aligned, right? So for me, that means being like, thank you, life, for bringing in 1,000 new Project Storyline members. I'm so excited for them to join Project Storyline, for them to use Project Storyline on a daily basis, and for them to really see a shift in their relationship with their followers and in the community that they build around their business to cheerlead them on. Right? So speaking it as though it's already true, getting aligned with the mission, understanding that when you say something out loud, it's like your body is listening, right? So always kind of putting it out there in word. I am so excited for 12,200 people to sign up for Double Down in Your DMs. I'm so excited for 1,000 new Project Storyline members or more. That's another thing, or more, like always kind of leaving it open. Always thinking that, life is here to surprise me and that I could be blown out of the water, and not just kind of limiting yourself to like, oh, I want 1,000 members. No, I want 1,000 members or more. Do not speak things if you do not want them to become true. So not only are you monitoring the thoughts that you're having, but I also want you to monitor the words that you're saying and the words specifically that come after the two words, I am. Because your body is always listening, your subconscious is always listening. And so just being very aware. So even for me, like this is something I'm always working on. I've started going back to the gym. I have a personal trainer. And the other day I was doing sit-ups and I kind of laughed at myself and I was like, oh my gosh, I am so weak. And then I caught myself and I was like, no, we cannot use words like so weak after I am, because your body is listening, life is listening, right? So I am powerful a lot of times. Like I will say that to myself again and again and again when I'm in the gym, because I want to be powerful. I want to show up powerfully, but it's not going to happen if my underlying belief of myself is that I am so weak, right? So I encourage you to speak it as though it's already true, and speak it to your friends, speak it to yourself, speak it into like a recording and then re-listen to it over and over again. Don't be afraid to use affirmations. And you can do these out loud or you can do these in your head. I would say most of my affirmations are done in my head, but you're still using that power of word, right? So I am abundant. Money flows to me with ease. This launch is going to be easier than I ever could have expected. This launch is going to bring me the right people, 1,000 Project Storyline members. They're going to be the perfect fit for this. So just things like that, like really reaffirming exactly what you want to have happen. And then that takes us into action. For me, action is twofold. Action is, yes, like taking action on your word and moving forward and like doing what needs to get done on your to-do list. But action to me also encompasses feeling, because you can think things and you can say things, but if you're not feeling them to be true, then this whole process is not going to work very well for you. So really stepping into that space of like feeling it in your body as though it is already true. And the more you practice this, the better that you will get at it. But even just giving yourself like 10 minutes to just sit down and just visualize your goals as though they have already happened, speak it out loud to yourself as though they've already happened, and then activating that energy inside of you as though it has already happened, feeling it in your body. How would it feel if 1,000 new people or more joined Project Storyline? What would I wake up the day after the launch feeling like? And just kind of like cultivating those feelings from now. Because like I said, your body's always listening. Life is always listening. And so when you're planting those seeds of like, this is where we're steering the ship, and when you can feel it in your body, I can't remember where I heard this from, but I'm pretty sure it's common knowledge that your body does not know the difference between like you imagining something and you visualizing something and experiencing it in your body as though it's already happening versus like it actually happening. Right? So like it can't tell the difference. So by you activating those feelings in your body as though it's already happening right now, you're pretty much like opening up the pathways for it to happen even more easily, right? You're basically like communicating with life and being like, this is exactly what I want. So feeling, taking action on your word, the doing part of it for me is the easiest because you can give me a to-do list and I can get through that to-do list very quickly and be like, okay, done, 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 and done. Like the doing part is actually really easy. But it also encompasses like total clarity and acceptance of something as reality as though it has already happened. And this is why like even conversations, like we've been having conversations with our Facebook ads team where it's like, they're kind of talking about what's happening with our cost per lead as though this is normal that it's happening and that we should have expected this because we've launched it. This isn't the first time that we're launching it. And because people have seen it already, I don't like going down into those conversations like, oh, well, we should expect worse results this time because this is whatever happened last time. So we shouldn't expect amazing results this time. I don't like having those conversations because to me, it just kind of like opens the door of potential acceptance of the fact that like we're not going to achieve our goals. And I just like to kind of hit a launch as though I know with 100% certainty that we are going to hit our goals and that I just need to show up every day and like steer the ship in that direction, right? So lessons to learn as you move away from this. Your doubts, to answer the question, and the question to remind you guys was, how do you remain doubt-free even when a launch isn't going the way that you want it to? Your doubt only creates resistance and friction. And once you truly understand that, you will let go of it with ease, right? So like, it's kind of like if you're driving a car and the car is towing like, I don't know, a truck, and you're wondering like why this car is struggling and it's taking so long and so much energy to move this truck and you just want to get to where you're going. You wouldn't hold on to that truck if you knew that it was slowing you down, right? So it's the same thing with doubt. Like you will not hold on to your doubt once you truly understand that it is creating so much resistance and friction that it's slowing you down and muddying your results. Right? So just remember that as you're going through your launch, like anytime doubt comes up and write it down, like put it on Post-it notes everywhere, like know with certainty what it is that you are creating and move towards that. And then do your best to keep yourself inspired along the way as well. So for me, and guys, this is different for everyone. So please be the detective of your own life and know what keeps you inspired. But for me, what keeps me inspired are early mornings. I like going to bed early. I like getting a full 7.5 hours of sleep. I wake up early and I kind of just give myself like an hour and a half to just get centered and kind of prime my day, right? And that looks different every single day. But I do like to get clear on what my to-dos for the day are. Like, I don't want to be wondering as I'm going through my day, like, what do I have to do today? It should all just be there in order so I can just like knock things off as I go through. I really love using tarot cards and angel cards. I know this is kind of like woo-woo for some people, but I love to just be like, okay, let me choose the card that contains the message that I most need today. Let me choose the card that contains the energy that I most need to embody today. And so I really love doing both of those things. I'll choose one tarot card, one angel card, and that really sets me up and gets me inspired. And then I do a little bit of research into like what the card means. And then I just kind of let my intuition have fun with it and interpret it for my day in whatever way is most empowering to me. I think a lot of people are scared about tarot cards because they think it's going to like give them a really negative reading, but you get from the cards whatever it is that you want to get. And I like giving myself that creative control of like, I'm only taking something positive away from this. I'm only taking something powerful away from this. The angel cards, they all have positive messages, so you're never going to get something like bad. My angel card reading for today, it's actually, I don't know if you guys have heard of it. I think it's Doreen Virtue's goddess angel cards. I think that's what they're called. I think they're actually called goddess cards, but it's all about unleashing your adventurous side and taking risks and putting yourself out there. And so I loved that card today. That gave me a lot of inspiration. And then also books. I have certain books that I go back to time and time again that I can just like open up to a random page that immediately like gets me on the right track and keeps me in the right frame of mind. And so that, my friends, is everything that I would advise you to do if you are launching and if you are trying to keep your mental and emotional and energetic states on point. Then it always comes back to, what are you thinking? What are the words that you're saying? And what are the actions that you're taking? How are you feeling, right? So just be very aware of that as you move throughout your day. And if you're listening to this and you haven't yet signed up for Double Down on Your DMs, I'm just going to give you a little intro. It's my 5-day free Instagram story engagement challenge. So many people know the power of Instagram stories. I mean, if you just look at how Instagram stories has taken over the digital landscape over the past few years, then it's a no-brainer. People are watching Instagram stories. If your ideal client is on Instagram, they are watching Instagram stories. And if you are not creating effective Instagram stories that create and build a relationship with your followers, then you're leaving money on the table, right? So today, I want you to ask yourself, do I want to show up more powerfully online? Do I want to invest time, effort, and energy into building a real relationship with my followers? And I can tell you right now, the benefits of that are really just having people who feel like they are a part of your journey, who are cheerleading you on every step of the way. And also, it's kind of like a domino effect. The more that you put yourself out there online and the more that you allow people to get to know you through the internet, the more results that you have because you're more top of mind, right? The more sales and profit and opportunities will come your way because people will relate you to your topic or niche, right? It's really just about building your brand, allowing people in, allowing people to know what it is that you do. If that is a resounding yes to you, if that sounds good to you, if that is something that you've been wanting to lean more into, then I would say Double Down on Your DMs is an epic fit for you. We have thousands of people from all over the world who have signed up for Double Down on Your DMs. They are all small business owners and entrepreneurs. They are all people who want to commit for 5 days to following 5 prompts so that they know exactly what to post to their Instagram stories every single day. And we've had people have amazing results from this, resulting in more sales, resulting in way more engagement, more direct messages. And if you're wondering, like, why do direct messages even matter? Direct messages matter because When someone direct messages you through your Instagram story, they are starting the conversation with you. When you message them, it's a completely different vibe, right? But when someone messages you, it's basically telling the Instagram algorithm, and it's also telling you that they are a hot lead, that they are someone who's interested in your content, and it allows you to build a real relationship with that person without feeling like you're coming across as salesy or tactical or too pushy, right? So the more times that we can create stories that are encouraging people to actually DM us, to me, the better. I wake up every single day to a full inbox of DMs. People from all over the world who are my ideal clients who are messaging me about different things. And to me, that is such a win because it means that when I open my cards, it means that when I start promoting whatever it is that I'm promoting at that time, there is a group of people who already feel like they're my friends, who already trust me, who know that I'm an expert, who know that I'm an authority, who've gotten value from me before. And so, yeah, it's a no-brainer, right? Double down on your DMs. We are putting, as a team, all of our heart, effort, and energy into it. We are trying to make it the most memorable, epic online experience that you have ever experienced. And I'm so proud and excited to see what is going to happen over the next 5 days. So if you're listening to this on Monday, September the 16th, it is not too late to join. You can join for free at doubledownwithalex.com. You can also find the link in my bio on Instagram. You can find it on my website, alexbeadon.com. Just do not put this off because you are going to miss out. Every single time I run Double Down on your DMs for the 2 to 4 weeks afterwards, it's just like a trail of people who were like, can I sign up for Double Down on your DMs? My friend told me about it. She found this, she got this result, da, 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 da. And the answer is no. Like once it's closed, it's closed. So don't miss out. It's so much fun when we do it together live. It means that you're not putting yourself out there alone. You're doing it with thousands of entrepreneurs by your side. And it's really, even if you never join Project Storyline, even if you never pay me a single cent, Double Down on your DMs is so worth the experience. So thank you so much for listening. I love you guys so much. And my challenge for you this week, because y'all know I always like to leave you with a challenge. My challenge for you this week is to monitor your thoughts, monitor your words, and monitor the way that you are showing up with your action, right? So be very aware of any words that come after I am. Be very aware of the thoughts that you're thinking. Are they positive? Are they negative? Are they creating resistance? And just be very disciplined with your thoughts, your words, and your actions. I hope you have a fantastic week, and I'm so excited to get to hang out with you guys. For those of you who have already signed up for Double Down on your DMs, it's gonna be lit. Bye. If you've reached this far in the episode, that must mean that you loved what you just heard, and I want to say thank you for listening. I also want to prompt you to take a simple action step that would really make my day and really help support what I do here on the show. I would deeply appreciate it if you could take 2 minutes of your time to leave us a review. To do it, it's super simple. You're just going to open the podcast app on your phone, search for On Purpose with Alex Beadon, scroll down until you see the ratings and reviews section, and then tap the Write a Review button. Your reviews are what help support this show. So please, if you are enjoying this content, take the 60 seconds that it will take and go and write a review. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. I want you to know how much I appreciate your attention. I want to thank you for listening, and I can't wait for you to listen to the next episode. Talk soon.